Ukwaju is basically tamarind sauce or chutney, and it's served in small quantities along with meals such as bajias, viazi vya karai, etc. as a condiment. Now, for those of you who've never had a chance to see what ukwaju looks like, this is what it looks like. It's a sticky, sour tasting fruit that has to be removed from the pod and then separated from the seeds before being used. If you're not at a place where you can easily access the tamarind pods as I can, you can go to the supermarket, buy the ready-made paste, then proceed to use it to make your ukwaju, or you can also buy the pre-packaged one that still has the seeds in it and then proceed to separate the seeds and the pulp from the sauce itself. For me, it makes more sense to use the ukwaju pods. In fact, it's absolutely free for me because we have a lot of ukwaju that grows wildly back in our shags. But if you do not have that privilege, where can you get the ukwaju pods? Anywhere where they're selling fresh produce. Mama Mboga down the road around the corner from your house, she has it. If she doesn't have it, ask her to refer you to someone who's selling it. Or you can opt to go to City Stadium Market, Marigiti, Mudurwa, City Market, or even in the supermarkets, they sell the ukwaju pods just as they are. So let's start making our ukwaju. First, you start by breaking the pod. So just press and it breaks and proceed to peel off the pod. Now mine looks a bit dry because I've been having this ukwaju for quite a while, but that does not take away from that very unique taste that it has. Okay, so this is how ukwaju looks like right after you've peeled it. So this is the rest of the ukwaju that I had already peeled and soaked in water. So after I finished peeling my ukwaju, the next thing that I did was I boiled my ukwaju on very high heat until it came to a furious boil, and then reduced the heat to a simmer, left it to simmer for about a minute, and then turned off the heat. This allowed the ukwaju to soften, hence making it easier for me to remove the pulp and the seeds. After I turned off the heat, I left the ukwaju to stand at room temperature until it cooled to a temperature that was cool enough for me to handle with my bare hands, because I needed to get in there and squeeze the ukwaju to make it easier for me to separate the stringy pulp and the seeds while sieving. So this is what I had after I finished my first round of sieving. It's very thick. This is what we call ukwaju paste. It's very, very concentrated. So you can opt to freeze this as cubes in your freezer, or you can put it in a container like I do. So what I do is whenever I need to use this paste, I remove my container from the freezer, place it on the counter at room temperature, let it soften a bit. I scoop what I need, cover it, return it to the freezer. That's what I do, and it's really worked for me. And as you can see, I've really used a lot of it since I packed it. So you can opt to throw away this pulp and the seeds right now, or if you're like me, you can add more hot water to this ukwaju pulp to squeeze out every last drop of goodness from it. The second round of sieving will yield a much lighter product than your first round. So once I finished sieving, I mixed everything together and ensured that everything was very well combined. So these are 3 medium-sized carrots that I peeled and divided into manageable pieces that would cook fast enough to a level where they really softened. Now you might ask yourself, why the carrots? So if you want to find out why I use the carrots, head on over to my blog. The recipe is already up and I've explained in detail why I did some certain things, and this is one of them. Now these are my carrots, boiled till they became very soft. As you can see, very soft, and they have cooled down to room temperature before using them for the next step. So this is my red chili powder, totally optional. You don't have to use it. If you don't want to use the red chili powder and you still desire to have a zing or a kick to your ukwaju, you can use fresh green chilies or whichever other type of hot pepper you prefer. It's really up to you. I also added salt to taste and some honey because ukwaju can get rather tart at times. But for those of you who are allergic to honey, you can use dates or jaggery as a sweetener, or you can also use sugar. So the amount of sweetener that you're going to add is really dictated by how tart your ukwaju is going to be at the end of the whole process. Okay, so I added everything to my blender, proceeded to blend it until everything was well combined and very smooth. Now the thickness of your ukwaju is really your own personal preference. If it's too thick, then you can add a bit more warm water to just loosen up the contents in your blender. So this is the consistency that I prefer mine to be at. Now I like my ukwaju very simple with minimal ingredients because I want the tamarind to remain as the star, but you can add cumin seeds, ginger, garlic, etc. Whatever you like, throw it in your ukwaju. So join me again on yet another very exciting recipe on Jikoni Magic, where we're going to make more Kenyan recipes. Until then, keep it Jikoni Magic. Goodbye.